I don't know. I'm not sure. But today was a big day for Microsoft. And it actually made me very happy to see what I saw today. So after the live stream where I played a little bit of Halo, and I went on to go play pool like I usually do. It's kind of one of the things that I do every night, right? So I went to go play pool, and then once I went to go play pool, I was listening to uh, videos or anything else that I want to listen to, the same as usual, right? So I happened to look at my inbox to my for my the people that I'm sub to, and Maximilian Dude made a video saying I got some new info on Killer Instinct, but it was a lot more than just that. So what happened was Evo had they had their event, which is like the big fighting game event or whatnot, or there was some sort of announcement. It might have been Evo or an announcement for Evo, I'm not sure. But anyway, this is what happened. What ended up happening was that uh, Max was home and he was doing his live stream like he usually does, right? And there was a presentation going on, and basically they told everybody to look up at the screen. We got something in terms of Killer Instinct to show everybody, or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, right? And then Max basically right then and there said, I'll be right back. And he went to another part of his room. And then on the big screen, lo and behold, it was Max live, which was like so huge. The crowd went nuts. But basically, long story short, what happened was they announced that not only would Killer Instinct be making a return, but it would be getting not just a next gen upgrade, but there would be new stuff for the game coming out. So at the same time, Killer Instinct itself was a seasonal game. And the reason why this is such a big deal was because the players, right? Obviously, Microsoft owns Killer Instinct, right? So the players for Killer Instinct had been playing that game for like the game has basically been silent for the last 5 years, right? Other than the community that's playing the game itself has been silent. There's nobody else like there's nothing else going on with the game. No updates, no nothing. I mean, obviously the server's still up and people are still playing it because they love the game. It's one of the best fighting games in the last 10 years plus to come out. So I mean, ultimately, Killer Instinct is a jewel, and fans absolutely love it, both from a competitive standpoint as well as a casual standpoint. Killer Instinct is an amazing game, right? And people are still playing it. And after 5 years of basically the game getting no updates or anything whatsoever, now Microsoft basically decided to be like, yeah, okay, fine. We're going to support the game. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And today it was announced, or should I say yesterday, depending on how you look at it, depending on what time zone you're in or whatnot. They basically said, yeah, we're gonna bring you much more. There's gonna be announcements coming, but the game is gonna have more. It's gonna be upgraded for next gen. There's gonna be another balance update as well, and a next gen upgrade as well as more content. So Killer Instinct, after all these years, after these handful of years, 5 years, is back now. And it's all because basically the fans, like people continued to play that game long after it came out. Remember, this game came out originally in 2013. And ever since then, it kept on getting better and better and better and overcoming obstacle after obstacle and after obstacle, right? And the reason why I'm excited for this is because, well, it shows that at least under Microsoft, if you are playing, what up, RMD? If you are playing these games, these old games, no matter how old they are, for a long ass time, that the game at least has a chance of getting support. Now, I don't know what the numbers are in terms of the people that are playing Killer Instinct. I do not know how many people are playing Killer Instinct. I honestly do not know. But all I know is that they said that it was a lot of people. So, in their definition of a lot, could be anything from 10,000 to 100,000, right? I mean, hell, it could be even more. You never know. I don't know. But the thing is, the game hasn't received any updates or anything over the last 5 years. No attention, nothing for 5 years. It was just up and people were still playing it, right? And obviously it's on Game Pass, all that stuff. Okay. And people were still playing it. And the community was still passionate about it. People were calling for a sequel or another season and all that kind of stuff. And after these handful of 5 years since the last game has been updated and given attention, and since the last you know, tournament, I guess, with the game and such during that life cycle of that span from 2013 to 2017. Guess what? After like 5+ years, the game is going to get not just a balance update and not just a next gen update, but it's gonna get new content. It's gonna continue for years to come. And there's going to be more announcements of that coming soon. So, what does that have to do with anything that we cover on here? What does that have anything to do with that? Well, it's got a lot to do, and I'll tell you why. Because as of recently, you guys know that there's been kind of this resurgency with the old Call of Duty games, right? Who says that they can't do the same thing with Call of Duty? And let's be real here, okay? With all due respect to Killer Instinct, I love Killer Instinct. This is old footage that I had recorded, and it's just gameplay in the background, so that way you have something to watch and not just listen to my voice on a black screen. RMD. So this is old footage. So anyway, this could very well mean, and we know history repeats itself, right? And I love Killer Instinct, right? I love the game. I grew up with the original Killer Instinct in 1995. And when it was announced in 2013, after so much internet talk and people wanting the game to be made, that it finally happened under Microsoft, I literally almost shit myself when I saw that announcement on E3 2013. My reaction was similar to Maximilian Dude's reaction. I was like, oh my gosh. Even though I hadn't really played fighting games for many years, I was hyped as a motherfucker. And the reason for this is because this game, I know what this game means. I was there when it came out. I was part of the hype when the game came out. I played the living shit out of it. I was one of the first 20,000 people that purchased it for Super Nintendo. And you want to know why I know this and how I know this? It's because the first 20,000 people that purchased the Super Nintendo and SNES version of Killer Instinct when it came out were they got the disc. They got the CD that had the soundtrack on it. And guess what? Mine had the soundtrack in it. So that's how I knew I was one of the 20,000. I actually read that very recently on Wikipedia, that if you were one of the first 20,000 people to get the game on the SNES, you would get a complimentary soundtrack CD, which was absolutely incredible. The original Killer Instinct soundtrack was great, and so was the new games. But anyway, this could happen with other Microsoft franchises, and they're about to acquire Activision Blizzard on October 18th, right? But seriously, this could happen with Call of Duty. And you know, I love Killer Instinct, but it's not a franchise that's as big in terms of numbers as Call of Duty. Let's just get that out of the way right now. I hate to say it, but it's true. And because again, this is a game that I grew up with, right? This is a game that I have feelings for, that like back in 1994 when that game came out, 1994, 1995, it was a game that kept me entertained. It kept me out of trouble. It kept me happy. It excited me. It was a game that consumed a lot of my time and my friends' time, and it was a great game. Killer Instinct of 1995 is a classic, is an absolute classic, and you just had to be there to understand. Okay? And I was there as a kid, as a 10-year-old kid. I was there and I saw it all happen. So with a franchise like Killer Instinct, obviously, that is popular, but is not as popular as Call of Duty, and with Microsoft about to acquire Activision Blizzard, what does this mean? Think about that for a minute. What does this mean? This means that this could translate over to Call of Duty. Like the old games. Imagine if Microsoft all of a sudden were to announce, right, that they're just like this Killer Instinct update that they're going to do, that there's like, you know what we're going to do, guys? We're going to update the classic Call of Duty games that you know, all know and love, right? All the games from, like, let's say, all the games from, let's say, COD 4, the original Modern Warfare, all the way through Ghosts, right? Or let's say some of the more iconic games, right? Like Modern Warfare 1, which is COD 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, and then the Treyarch games, right? Black Ops 1, World at War, Black Ops 2. And they say, you know what? We're going to get these games new servers, dedicated servers. We're going to give them server support. And you guys are going to get the next gen upgrade. In other words, what they mean by this is up to 4K 60, right? Or 120 hertz on, like, let's say 1080 or 1440. The full next gen experience on the old classic Call of Duties. If Microsoft were to do that shit, do you have any idea the kind of impact that it would have? Seriously, think about that for a second. Like, take a legit break from your, from everything that you're doing right now, and just think about that for a minute. Like, we already know that this resurgency of just getting the regular old servers and peer-to-peer connections working properly for Xbox has already caused a resurgency. What the hell do you think would happen if all of a sudden Microsoft said, you know what, we're going to update the servers, it's going to be on dedicated servers, all your classic Call of Duty games are going to be on dedicated servers with the next gen upgrade up to 10 up to let's say 30 frames on 4K, and then 1440 or 1080 at 120 hertz or 120 frames. Imagine that shit. That's huge. That is absolutely huge. Not only that, you know what's going to happen? If this only happens for Microsoft, which it probably will. Well, actually, no. With Call of Duty, it's probably going to happen on... in terms of the next-gen upgrade, it's probably going to happen only on Microsoft. Maybe? You have any idea how many PlayStation fanboys are going to buy a Microsoft console for that? Think about that for a second. And they're going to subscribe to Game Pass, and you know that shit's going to be on Game Pass as well, which is going to make Game Pass absolutely even more popular, and it's going to help bring even more people. Think about that for a minute. And crossplay among console? Shit. That is amazing. Like, think about that for a minute. Just the thought of something like that possibly happening, especially when they did it with a smaller franchise. Again, with all due respect to Killer Instinct, it's a smaller franchise, but them doing it to them with those guys. Imagine the kind of impact if they did that shit with COD and those old franchises. Think about that for a minute. Holy heck. And I know I sound like a broken record when I say think about that for a minute, but really though, think about it. What do you think would happen realistically? If anybody right now it feels like typing something in the chat. What do you think would happen? Like, this shit would be trending all day for a while if this actually happened, if Microsoft were to actually do this. It's going to be absolutely huge. Like imagine Phil Spencer himself, right? Either going live or, releasing a video or whatever. Phil Spencer is out there and he's like, hello, Call of Duty community. You guys have been very passionate. You guys have been very dedicated and stuff like that. Now that Call of Duty has come home, we want to give you something to show our thanks, as well as to expand the player base. And what we're going to do is we're going to put all your classic Call of Duty games that you know and love on dedicated servers. We're going to patch them up so that way there's no, no hacking and stuff like that going on, making them safer to play, blah, blah, blah. And we're going to give them the next gen upgrade to where you can play up to 4K and of course 120 hertz at, for the next gen console experience. Like, this is our gift to you until we announce something brand new, and this should keep you guys very occupied. Thank you again for your support, and we'll see you online. Like, imagine that shit. You have any idea how many, people are going to be posting reaction videos to this? Like, seriously. They're going to be posting reaction videos to this, and you know what else they're going to do? A lot of other people are going to be buying Xboxes just for that alone. Seriously. And it's going to make Game Pass that much more lucrative. It's going to make Game Pass that much more popular, and people are going to eat it up. Like, I guarantee you, people are going to eat that shit up. And content creators are going to make videos about it, and people are going to be streaming it. It's going to be like, oh, fuck, holy shit. But yeah, seriously, I would love for something like that to happen. Man, oh man. And the classic Call of Duties, let's be real here. The one cool thing about the classic Call of Duties is, honestly, they're timeless. If you think about it, they're timeless because they're solid arcade shooters. Just like XDefiant has the potential to be. They're classics, and for good reason. So yeah, Call of Duty, like, I mean, seriously, even some of the more least favorite Call of Duties, like Ghosts, like some people still consider Ghosts like the worst, one of the worst Call of Duties ever made, if not the worst. So it's like, well, I personally don't think Ghosts is the worst Call of Duty ever made, to be honest with you. But with that being said, uh, I guarantee you Ghosts will still see a resurgency. Like people are gonna love that shit. But what do you guys think the reaction for something like that would be? I would really love to know because um, I personally think people are going to go crazy if that happens. Call of Duty's going to be trending, Microsoft's going to be trending, it's all going to be trending, and people are going to go nuts, legitimately nuts. And the Call of Duty community is the ones that have been gone for whatever reason, right? They're going to come back. They announced this shit. And not only that, it would also get people hyped up for the Call of Duty that's going to follow. Like the brand new one, that's going to get people hyped. First of all, people are already curious in terms of what Treyarch is going to do. Let's just be real, right? Because not counting Cold War, because it wasn't a game that Treyarch fully developed, not even close. So, Treyarch has yet to let us down with any Call of Duty that they've ever developed. Let's just get that out of the way right freaking now. Like Treyarch has yet to let us down, right? So Black Ops 1 was awesome. Black Ops 2 was awesome. World at War I never played for myself, so I can't say from firsthand experience, but a lot of people feel nostalgic about that game. And Black Ops 3 was a game that was said to be absolutely amazing, and nobody expected it to be as good as it was, especially since Black Ops 2 was considered by many as like the gold standard, but here comes Black Ops 3 and it's absolutely incredible, right? So think about that for a minute. Like that game, like those games right there are legendary in their own right, of course. And Black Ops 4 as well. And you know what? Treyarch has yet to let us down. So you think about COD 2024 and then under Microsoft and all that shit, they could do a thing something similar to Master Chief Collection with Call of Duty. They can, Noble for Hunter. But have you been here this entire time? Because did you hear about what I mentioned, what they did with Killer Instinct today or yesterday, depending on which time zone you're in? I will gladly go over it with you again if you didn't hear, so that way you can be brought up to speed about this because it's incredible. It's an incredible story. So okay, so Killer Instinct is obviously a fighting game that Microsoft basically kind of resurrected from the dead because ever since 1995, 1996, it basically disappeared. But people online had been wanting it and they've been talking about it in forums and stuff like that. And fast forward to 2013, Microsoft brought the game to its console, right? So Killer Instinct actually ended up becoming one of the best fighting games of the last decade, and it got released in 2013 and it got support all the way through 2017. So over the last 5+ years, the game has not had any support from the devs and all that kind of stuff. It was thought to be forgotten and blah blah blah, right? Okay. So what ends up happening is after these 5 years of no support, the thing is people continued to play the game because the online netcode was terrific. The game had a lot of content. It had a lot of fighters. It was a great fighting game from both the casual and competitive standpoint. The graphics were great. Everything. It was a top-notch fighting game, right? And the population of the fighting game was still high because people loved the game despite the fact that it had no support for 5+ years and it was basically being ignored, all but ignored for 5+ years. And then today, during an event, it was announced that Microsoft is going to not only be giving Killer Instinct a next gen upgrade and update in terms of balance, but they're going to bring more content into the game because that game was like a seasonal game. And then Microsoft all of a sudden is like, yeah, we're going to support it because obviously people are playing this game. So with as of recent times, what people have been playing the older Call of Duties ever since Microsoft put the servers up, right? So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what if Microsoft were to do this with the old classic Call of Duty games to where they're seeing that there's tens and thousands, if not more, people playing the games, right? The old classic Call of Duty games ever since the servers went back up. And what if they were to come later on and announce and be like, you know what, guys? we're going to give your classic Call of Duty titles that you're playing right now that you know and love. We're going to make them on dedicated servers so that way the connection is not just better, but they're safer to play and all that kind of stuff, and you don't have to worry about the BS from peer-to-peer connection. And on top of that, guess what? For next gen upgrade, you guys can play beyond 60 hertz. You can play beyond 60 frames per second, and you can play up to 120 or even 4K if you want at, like, let's say 60 or whatnot, right? And we're going to update those classic Call of Duty games that you guys have been playing, and we want to thank you for all the support. Everything's going to go on Game Pass as well, and we'll see you when we have something new in terms of Call of Duty to announce. Happy gaming, you know? If Microsoft were to do that shit, do you have any idea the kind of impact that would have? If they pulled what they did with Killer Instinct, if they do that same shit with Call of Duty, people are going to be walking and having orgasms. Like, content creators are going to be literally content creators are literally going to make videos about this. People are going to be reacting to this. Like, and all it would take is, like, you know, Phil Spencer making a video and then releasing that video and saying, yeah, this is what we're going to do. And, you know, stay tuned. We'll have more announcements on this, you know, time to come, in time to come. Like, seriously, like, because I love Killer Instinct. I grew up, I was there when the original Killer Instinct came out. I was a 10-year-old kid. I understand firsthand why that game is so important and why the impact is as big as it is and the nostalgia and everything like that. And even though I don't play fighting games anymore, I've been keeping my eye on Killer Instinct here and there, and it is a terrific fighting game. A terrific fighting game. And it was made by Passion, and it had a lot of problems because it had a lot of development issues because, you know, there were a lot of challenges and the team was small and all that kind of stuff, but they did it. And they kept on upgrading it for 4 years, and it became the best fighting game in the last decade, which is a huge feat. So, and Killer Instinct is so small compared to Call of Duty. Let's just face it. Call of Duty's popularity is much larger than Killer Instinct. Let's be real here, right? But if Microsoft were to announce that with Killer Instinct, what do you think would happen? Like, seriously, people will come back to the franchise. People will play the hell out of it. Plus, you're going to get new players as well because, you know, hype promotes the game. And to top it all off, releasing those classic Call of Duty games on Game Pass, you know, come October 18th, they're going to, you know, the deal's going to close and they're going to acquire Activision Blizzard. So these guys are like, all they need to do is that. And you'll even have PlayStation fanboys that will be buying a Microsoft console for this shit alone. Like, a percentage of those PlayStation fanboys are going to be getting a Microsoft console for that shit alone. Seriously. I can't explain it any better than that. So that was a big win for Microsoft today, what they did with such a beloved franchise. And it was all done because of the fact that they saw that people kept playing the game relentlessly. Like, the online netcode of Killer Instinct is terrific. You know, there's different ways you can play. You could play the classic ones as well, but obviously people are playing the new ones. So, and people have been saying time and time again that, you know, they've been wanting a sequel, and some people have lost faith and all that kind of stuff. And lo and behold, you know, after all this time, it's like, okay, they're going to do it. So it's like, shit, I just can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about the fact that what if Microsoft were to do this with COD? Like, people are going to go nuts. Like, it's going to be nuts if Microsoft does that with COD. And it's going to make them a ton of money. I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to give them so many Game Pass subscriptions. It's not even funny. It is not. More people are going to be wanting in the Xbox Series S and X as well. It's going to be bananas. There's just no other way to say it. And again, Microsoft would obviously be spending money to do this, but they'd be making so much more in return, especially with the amount of people that would go back and play those games. What do you think right now? Honestly, let me ask you this question while you're here. What do you think the player count would be for Call of Duty Black Ops 2 if this were to happen? That if the hackers were gone, right? Because they updated and fixed it and stuff like that, right? Dedicated servers up to 120 hertz, right? 120 FPS, you know, at 1440 or 1080 or whatever, right? With 4K capability at 60 possibly, right? What do you think the player count for Black Ops 2 would be if that were to be a thing and if they were to announce that? Like, let me ask you that. Like right now, in the state that Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is in, you got like over 10,000 people. What do you think that number would rise to if that were to happen? I'm saying it right now. I'm talking six figures, man. Absolutely no less than 100,000. And I remember when Black Ops 2 initially came out, there was like 600 plus thousand people, like on the first night of release at midnight. So, I mean, you never know. That number could even be surpassed. I'm not gonna lie to you. That number could very well be surpassed. That's not a joke. That is realistic. What about the other Call of Duty games? What about COD 4? What about Modern Warfare 2? What about Black Ops freaking 1? Imagine Black Ops 1, dude, running at 120 on dedicated servers. Just imagine that. Just the thought of that. I mean, just the thought of that gets me aroused, man. I'm not even kidding. With the population going way up, content creators likely to make videos about it. I mean, you name it, dude. Like, don't you think that it would be huge? And I wonder, I also wonder like how long this shit would trend. Like if this were to actually happen, um like how long would it trend for? How long would this trend? And you know what the funny thing is? You know what the funny thing is? That this could actually happen. This could actually happen. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Like I legitimately want to know. I legitimately want to know what you guys think. Like, yeah, it's a big deal. Like this actually, like under the old Activision, right? It would have no chance of happening, right? But with Microsoft, you know well that this could actually happen. Like I want to like more than anything, honestly. Like obviously, playing the games is one thing, but more than anything, you know what I want to see? I want to see people's reaction. I want to see people's reaction when this shit gets announced. Like do you have any idea like so what do you think? Like what's your opinion? I legitimately want to know. Like do you think that Microsoft actually might do this? My phone is going to blow the hell up. uh, as in like right now, or are you just talking like in general, like your phone's gonna blow up if this were to happen? Oh, in general? Oh, okay. Yeah, I gotta remember that there are a lot of people that watch from their phones and or listen from their phones. Like when I go and play pool, obviously I have my phone, so whenever there's like a podcast or a video or something like that while I'm playing, have it I have it on. So and I'm playing it, and I got my Bluetooth on, and I just listen while I shoot. So I get that. So, but yeah, I for one am excited about it. Just because there's a chance, I'm excited about it. And they already did it with one franchise. They might as well do it with the big franchise, you know, because the classic Call of Duties do have a place. Like the last month or so has proven that there is a place for classic Call of Duties today. You know, they can exist. There is a place for them. So, and I realized I haven't really posted a video in a while. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a video and I'm gonna talk about this. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't just want to like I don't just want to like, you know, download this footage or whatnot and just repost it. I want to make a video about this. Too good. Too good. Like the possibility is too good. Where are you from, by the way, Noble? Where are you from, man? What state are you in right now? Or what state are you in? Cali. Awesome. You're in a different time zone than I am, that's for sure. Man. And Call of Duty needs this, man. Call of Duty needs this to happen. Too good. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start making a video about this. Just too good. So um but yeah, I wanted to get on stream and talk. I know most people are not up at this time because it's just way too late or early, depending on how you look at it. So this was just too good not to talk about. I had to. I absolutely positively had to. And I streamed earlier today, so it's like, well, before I went to go play pool. So all right. So I am going to yeah, you're gonna hit the hay? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna shut the stream down and I'm gonna make a video so I can post a video because it's been too long since I made a video. There was nothing really to post, but this news is definitely worth posting. So um so yeah. And thank you for the company, man. I hope you get a good night's rest. You know, I hope the weather is nice tomorrow in Cali. So enjoy your night and enjoy your day tomorrow. And thank you very much for the company. It's time for me to start recording for a video. I'll catch you later, man.